May 31st, 1916, the gray waters of the North Sea churn under storm clouds as 250 warships converge off Denmark's coast. The Royal Navy's Grand Fleet steams toward destiny, their massive dreadnought battleships bristling with 15-inch guns. Admiral Jellicoe commands 151 British warships. Against them, Vice Admiral Scheer leads 99 German vessels in the High Seas Fleet. It's about to become the largest naval battle in human history. But let's change one thing. Slicing through the depths at impossible silence moves something that shouldn't exist for another century. A Virginia-class attack submarine from 2024, armed with weapons that could sink entire fleets and sonar that sees through steel hulls like glass windows. So what happens when the most advanced underwater predator on Earth crashes into the greatest surface naval battle ever fought? Can one modern submarine rewrite the outcome of World War I? Or will the sheer mass of 1916 firepower overwhelm even future technology? This isn't your great-great-grandfather's submarine. World War I U-boats were basically steel coffins that occasionally surfaced to breathe. They maxed out at 50 meters deep, crawled at 8 knots underwater, and carried maybe 16 torpedoes if they were lucky. The Virginia-class submarine we're dropping into 1916 is a completely different species of predator. We're talking about 377 feet of nuclear-powered stealth that can dive to 800 feet, cruise at 25 knots, submerge for months without surfacing, and carry 40 weapons in vertical launch tubes that can fire everything from precision torpedoes to cruise missiles with 1,000-mile ranges. The submarine's sonar can track every ship on the horizon while remaining completely invisible to 1916 technology. Its fire control computers process targeting data faster than a human can blink. And here's the kicker. It carries Mark 48 torpedoes that travel at 55 knots with 650-pound warheads designed to break the backs of modern warships. Against 1916 steel armor, they're basically underwater nuclear bombs without the radiation. At 1400 hours, Admiral Beatty's battlecruiser squadron races south toward the German fleet. HMS Queen Mary cuts through the swells, her crew of 1,300 men preparing for battle. She's brand new, commissioned just 1 year ago, representing the pinnacle of British naval technology. Massive guns, thick armor, and enough firepower to level a city. But beneath the waves, something watches her through digital eyes. The Virginia-class submarine's sonar operator spots the British formation from 30 miles away. On his screen, the massive signatures of battlecruisers appear like floating cities. In 1916, this is impossible. Ships can barely see each other at 10 miles on a clear day. But the submarine's ANBSY-2 combat system is already calculating firing solutions, tracking speed, bearing, and the optimal intercept points for each target. Queen Mary has no idea death is stalking her from below. Her lookouts scan the horizon for German masts. Her gun crews prepare their 13.5-inch cannons. Her captain studies charts showing estimated enemy positions. None of them imagine that a predator lurks beneath them, armed with weapons that make their battleship guns look like muskets. The submarine commander faces a choice that will reshape naval history. He could surface and try to warn the British fleet about the approaching German ambush. He could remain hidden and observe the battle unfold, or he could demonstrate what happens when 21st century warfare meets 1916 steel and flesh. At 14:30 hours, the German battlecruiser SMS Lutzow appears on the horizon. British gun crews cheer as their massive weapons begin to train on the enemy. This is what they've trained for. This is why the Royal Navy rules the waves. But 400 feet below Queen Mary's keel, torpedo tubes flood with seawater as targeting computers lock onto multiple signatures simultaneously. The Battle of Jutland is about to begin, but not the way history remembers it. Admiral Beatty's flagship, HMS Lion, leads the charge toward the German line. Behind her, Queen Mary and HMS Indefatigable follow in perfect formation, their massive guns already turning toward the enemy. The distance closes rapidly as both fleets race toward collision. What none of these 1,300 sailors aboard Queen Mary realize is that their ship has already been selected for destruction by an enemy they cannot see, cannot hear, and cannot fight. The submarine's Mark 48 torpedoes are designed to hunt modern nuclear submarines. Against a 1916 battlecruiser, they're about to demonstrate the difference between then and now. At 14:48 hours, the submarine commander makes his decision. 4 Mark 48 torpedoes launch from the vertical tubes in rapid succession, their wake homing guidance systems already locked onto Queen Mary's massive propeller signature. These aren't the crude straight-running torpedoes of 1916. They're intelligent hunters that can change course mid-flight, dive beneath their targets, and detonate directly under the keel for some maximum damage. The first torpedo streaks through the water at 55 knots, covering the distance to Queen Mary in under 3 minutes. On the battlecruiser's bridge, Admiral Beatty watches the German line through his binoculars, completely unaware that his flagship is about to witness something impossible. The torpedo's sonar pings Queen Mary's hull, confirms the target, and detonates 20 feet beneath her armor belt. The explosion lifts 26,000 tons of British steel clean out of the water. Queen Mary's magazine doesn't just explode like in the original timeline. The modern torpedo's shaped charge creates a pressure wave that ruptures every watertight compartment simultaneously. The battlecruiser doesn't break apart dramatically. She simply vanishes in a column of superheated steam and twisted metal that reaches 500 feet into the sky. HMS Lion's crew stares in absolute shock. One moment Queen Mary was there, her guns blazing at the German line. The next, she's gone. Not sinking, not listing, not burning. Gone. Completely erased from existence along with 1,300 men who never even saw their killer coming. Admiral Beatty lowers his binoculars, his famous composure finally cracking. This isn't naval warfare. This is something beyond human understanding. The German fleet fares no better. SMS Lutzow leads their battlecruiser squadron in a textbook approach, her crew confident in their superior gunnery training and range-finding equipment. Captain Harder studies the approaching British line through his periscope, calculating firing solutions for his 12-inch guns. He's a veteran of 3 years of war, but nothing prepared him for what happens next. The submarine has already repositioned, using its nuclear propulsion to move at speeds no 1916 vessel can match. 2 more Mark 48s launch toward the German formation. Lutzow's lookouts spot strange white wakes approaching from an impossible angle, but there's no time to react. The first torpedo detonates beneath her forward turret, the second under her engineering spaces. The battlecruiser doesn't sink gradually like ships are supposed to. She breaks in half, her massive gun turrets tumbling into the sea as her magazine cooks off in a secondary explosion. Both fleets now face something their training never covered. Ships are disappearing without warning from an enemy that remains completely invisible. Panic spreads through the formations as captains realize their massive guns, thick armor, and numerical superiority mean nothing against this phantom killer. HMS Indefatigable attempts evasive maneuvers, her captain ordering full speed and a zigzag pattern. It doesn't matter. The submarine sonar tracks her every movement while calculating the optimal firing solution. Another Mark 48 races through the depths, its guidance system adjusting course as Indefatigable turns desperately to port. The torpedo arrives exactly where the battlecruiser will be, not where she was. The explosion tears Indefatigable apart from the inside out. Her crew of over 1,000 men has perhaps 5 seconds to comprehend what's happening before the sea claims them. Admiral von Hepper, watching from SMS Seydlitz, orders his remaining ships to scatter. Traditional naval tactics become meaningless when the enemy can strike from anywhere while remaining completely undetected. The submarine commander realizes he's not just sinking ships. He's shattering the entire concept of naval warfare 6 decades early. These aren't precision strikes against military targets. He's erasing the finest battleships in the world along with their entire crews. Men who never had a chance to fight back or even understand what killed them. But the Mark 48 torpedoes are running low, and the submarine faces a problem no 2024 naval strategist ever planned for. There are still over 200 warships scattered across the North Sea, and they're starting to coordinate a response to this invisible threat. When the smoke clears and the North Sea falls silent, one Virginia-class submarine would have fundamentally altered the course of human history. The Battle of Jutland, meant to decide naval supremacy between two empires, becomes a demonstration of just how far military technology would advance in the next century. 6 Mark 48 torpedoes fired from an invisible predator would have eliminated more British and German firepower than the entire historical battle combined. But here's the thing. That submarine, for all its technological superiority, carries only 40 weapons total. After sinking the pride of 2 navies, it still faces over 200 warships scattered across the North Sea. And in 1916, there are no GPS satellites, no encrypted communications, and no way to call for backup. The submarine crew would find themselves stranded in a world they could dominate tactically, but never escape strategically. The real question isn't whether modern technology could sink 1916 warships. It's whether one submarine could survive long enough to matter, and whether rewriting the Battle of Jutland would save lives or simply create an even bloodier timeline where World War I drags on for decades. What do you think would happen next?